It's Late Kick Live here high atop, Gainesville, Florida. We are at the University of Florida, Tuesday, April 16th, year of our Lord 2024. I got some spring intel to deliver you. We got Billy Napier, Florida head coach, one-on-one on the show tonight. He doesn't shy away from it. I asked him about a lot of stuff you guys talk about, and he looked me in the eye and answered it, and kind of looked you in the eye and answered it. I think if someone who had never coached before took your job, they'd probably freak out week to week based on whether things went well or didn't go well, but you can't do that. So how do you decide when it's time to make changes versus let's give it some time, let's be patient?
Well, I think ultimately, this is a production business. I think sometimes we get consumed with the result, but we've got to really think about the efficiency, the leadership in certain areas, a new teacher, a new voice.
It's Florida. If you're my age, if you're a generation earlier or a generation older, which is a vast majority of the American public now, that logo represents greatness, whether it was Spurrier or whether it was the Tim Tebow era. It represents something that was throughout maybe our childhood. Nothing's changed. Like, it absolutely could be that again. And you've always got that voice in the back of your mind of, is this the group that takes Florida back to where I grew up knowing Florida?
How we doing? Doing good to see you.
Good to see you.
Doing great.
Year 3, it's your thumbprint on the program. You want one heartbeat, like you want one identity in a team, and you want to be the one that casts the vision, and hopefully those guys bought into it. You've got that in the building now.
We want to win. And for us, it's how do we find little details of what we do on a daily basis to push the guys on this team to just go try to win every single game and have that be our mindset. So
the way last year ended was not something anyone wanted. It could end up being one of the biggest blessings that this group could have ever found themselves in. It is very easy to be together when you win. But you also don't know how shakeable you are until you go through the tough times. This dude and this dude were by my side then. They're gonna be by my side this fall. If they're still here now, I don't have to worry about whether I can trust them. We've already been through all that together.
Graham Mertz got interviewed recently on Paul Feinbaum's show, and they asked him about that. And I think his point, the way he said it was, we're not worried about proving others wrong. We're worried about proving each other right. And I think ultimately the makeup of our team right now is what gives me confidence.
the main thing is how do we set ourselves up for success in 4 months? Like we got a lot of work we got to do, but we're ready for it.
The one thing you got to remember is while the rest of the world's telling you who you've got to play, to make sure that locker room knows that means they got to play Florida. And what is Florida in 2024? That's what you get to define. You don't control anything else. You do control what Florida 2024 means, and it may very well mean that those folks on that schedule got a much bigger task on their hands than they ever thought they had.
So when we're talking about Trey, I think one of the unique things about him for being you can see here his measurements, 5'10", 1/4, 165. That was something that came up in the evaluation process several times. But the thing that stands out for him, his ability to play through contact and to play with a level of toughness and the demeanor that he plays with.
Yes, sir. Our job as a personnel department, we take pride in helping the coaching staff put together a roster, right? So we have a set of principles and a plan that we go by that we believe in from a roster construction standpoint. And our job is to help our staff become efficient in the evaluation and recruiting process.
Take a look at a couple of his plays. I mean, this guy is extremely fun to watch, just like on Saturdays, right? So his high school tape, going back, we used to, especially his senior year, just talking about how fun and electric he is as a player. And I think what's unique about him, the way he attacks the football, right? Like the ability to catch the ball away from his body.
Strong hands.
He attacks it.
It's very polished too.
Yeah, definitely as a route runner, I think it's unique as well.
this guy he's a one-play touchdown, right? That's what we say. So like he can take any ball, right, and have the ability to make a big play.
I was surprised at the confidence that he plays with as well.
Yeah.
Like he's comfortable with making those type plays and absorbing those hits at that size.
His ability to set guys up, stick his foot in the ground. Like
for us, we're a big height, weight, speed, verified height, verified weight, verified speed, verified length operation, right? So we believe in traits and movements. What are the traits? What are the movements? And then getting the verified measurements, verified speed. We believe in, tall, long, big athletes, right?
So taking a look at Jordan, I think as a DB and the fact that he played corner and safety, right, his ability to play across the secondary was something that stood out in the evaluation process, but also his size, right, at 6'2", 205, his height and length was something that for us was a plus.
Play on the ball here.
Yeah, you see the range for sure. That was something that stood out for him, his instincts, right, and then the range that he's able to play with in the post.
You see how fluid he is in his pedal as he transitions into the drive.
Yeah, I think for us, we try to bet on, that's what we say, the traits and the movements, right? And then we try to bet on that so that through the development process from when they get here, we believe enough in our football plan and the plan that our coaches have in their ability to develop prospects that if we can identify guys with traits and bet on those traits and those movements, that those guys will be able to see the field fast because of the development that we have from a coaching and a weight room standpoint.
It never stops because these kids are constantly growing, right? So their bodies are everlasting changing. And so we just try to take all of that into account and just keep evaluating them throughout the year to help us make those decisions collectively.
Doesn't take long to realize he's a difference maker. As soon as you turn the film on, it's a couple plays in, and yeah, he's real.
At this level, you've got to start early, right? And that's one thing with the signing day moving up and potentially moving up again. The clock really just starts earlier and earlier. So you really want to have your ducks in a row starting really after their freshman season. I know that's early, but that's just kind of the day and age now.
The make you miss, ability to make a play when there's not one.
And when he's one-on-one in space, like, good luck trying to tackle this guy.
It's kind of like it just never stops, There's not really any breaks. You're always evaluating, you're always recruiting, you're always getting guys on campus. In December, we'll be signing the class of 25. And like me and Lamar, we're already looking at guys in the class of 2028, guys that they just played their freshman season of high school. So you're always looking 2, 3, 4 years ahead for the next guy, and it just never ends.
It's really exciting, I think, because you can really help change these kids' lives. I mean, a kid might not have anything going in terms of offer-wise for any university across the country, but all it takes is one of our students that we call the G unit that are assigned to each coach. All it takes is for them to come across their film, come across their ground level combine film. You go with the measurements. You look for all the athletic ability, all the measurements, and see if you want that to marry up. And if it does, that's all it takes for us to get the ball rolling on any given prospect.
We don't sign off on a guy until there's conviction and he checks a certain amount of boxes, right? So like, for us, that helps minimize the risk that you're taking by being as thorough and detailed as you can in the evaluation process.
Outside of the physical traits, which I think is equally important, if not more important, is the genetic makeup of that player, right? You're talking about the instincts, the intelligence, the character, the toughness, and the durability, and obviously the person, right? You want to be able to have that person fit the culture in your building.
For us, I think that's where we've made the most strides here in our 3 years at Florida is really focusing in on the type of player that believes in our core values and what Coach Napier's mission is here at Florida. We say all the time, you get what you attract, right? So I think Coach Napier's message and his vision is carried out through the staff, and that's the type of players that we attract who want to be a part of that.
Let me say this, I think when you get to a day like today, realization is it takes a team of people. We've got great people in our personnel department. We've got really, really good people in the back there. I can't compliment them enough relative to the evaluation process, the roster management process. You know, the on-campus recruiting department, you know, Bree Wade was exceptional. We added Skylar Wise to the mix here halfway through the process there, and she did a great job. And certainly Katie Turner's leadership in that recruiting strategy role across the board. Again, another all-star that is a difference maker, and I think we all can agree to that.
I'm definitely a big believer that everything happens for a reason, and it might sound cheesy, but you know, I'm from Buffalo, New York. I'm very proud of that, and I came down south for college. I have 4 roommates, and one of them works for the football program, and she was a senior when I was a freshman. She said, you know, you should really apply for this position with the football program. The second I got into it, I fell in love with the process and what it takes to put a team together.
I've just always been around sports, always had a love for it, always appreciated it, and I never really knew that there was room or space for women in sports, but soon found out that there were. I got involved with the student recruiting group at my undergraduate institution and just absolutely fell in love with working in sports, working in football, how fast-paced it was, the recruiting process. I mean, I just absolutely fell in love with it, and I knew that's what I wanted to do the rest of my life.
So originally I was a teaching major because I knew I wanted to be around kids, like I wanted to help, like I wanted to be a small part in someone's journey. That really fills my soul. I love people, I love relationships, and that's really what recruiting is, and so I feel like that's why I do what I do.
And then it would be like a 9 a.m. depart, 9:30 breakfast. So now we're at like 10:30 a.m. You are only as good as the person next to you. And I feel that way with our department. I feel that way amongst our staff. I think that it is a team sport. It's a team sport on the football field, and it's a team sport, you know, as staff members.
What's the score on yours? Shamar, what'd you get? I beat you! Katie is the absolute juice. I mean, that girl shows up bright and early in the morning with so much energy. Oh, I just flipped. They told me to put my sunglasses on while I drove.
Katie is the ray of sunshine in this place.
The first OB weekend has commenced, so if everyone can stand for the national anthem.
I just kind of let Bree cook. Like, she is so creative.
Welcome to breakfast. Skylar is also quite a personality. She's so funny. She does an incredible job, again, of like making everyone feel welcomed, everyone feel at home. I mean, she's an incredible extension of Katie and myself. I mean, where we can't be, what we can't see, Skylar is on it. So I think we make an incredible team all together.
We're all very like-minded. We're all really similar. We all are pulling in the same direction. We have the same goals. There's just nothing like deterring our bond.
He hits view first, 10:30. We're kind of in between. 11:30 position meeting.
Get settled in, get water, Gatorade. You know, Bree, Skylar, and I will get together in Bree's office because she has this great whiteboard, and we will just do our brainstorming sessions.
Like, we can pretty much squeeze in a 2:15.
We work so well hand in hand where we're locked away in a strategy room and sometimes we're finishing each other's thoughts. We're like, why are you in my brain? We say it all the time, like, get out of my brain, because we're finishing each other's thoughts. We're like, that's exactly what I was thinking. So I just think we have a great team chemistry.
Oh, so maybe they do need to wake up earlier, because then that would go until 12:30.
The attention to detail, one, if you don't have it, your weekend can fall apart like that.
Our recruiting analysts are definitely the unsung heroes of the recruiting department.
So we're packing some SUV packs for the weekend. So when the families get in the car and their hosts go pick them up, the guys have like some snacks.
Details are really important. So just making sure, like she said, making sure that if they like a certain snack that we have that option for them. Or, you know, when they walk in, they see, you know, things that they like to eat.
They inventory the lanyards and the credentials before we even have to ask to make sure we're never running low. They're inventorying the envelopes to make sure we're never running low, and all of our cards, and they're organizing it all, and they're making the labels. Like, they just have done an amazing job.
Okay, so dinner at the O'Connell Center. So we mostly have like our student station, but pretty much if you
That dinner is Bree's baby. She plans it from top to bottom. It really is one of our coolest venues that we have to be able to eat in there.
Are we doing gold or silver? Let's do gold. Well, what looks like we have more? It looks like we have more silver.
Yeah.
Let's do silver.
Definitely our Friday night dinners kick off pretty much the weekend. So we start with a welcome reception and then we move into the photo shoot, but it's really that first dinner where we're actually able to sit down with one another that sets the tone for the entire weekend.
I love official visits. Okay? Like, there is just nothing like an OV. The lighting in there, the plants and the palm trees and the tables, and we love the details in recruiting. You want it to feel like Disney when someone walks in, right? It's like no guest is ever holding a door of their own. It just looks amazing. There's so much that goes into it, and it's just, yeah, it's our game days.
Something that Coach Napier really emphasizes is the human element of everything. And he just talks about how important relationships are, how important it is to be genuine and authentic because, I mean, truly these prospects, their families, they see through that. Like they can tell what's real, they can tell what's fake. So it's just so important to have a genuine, authentic relationship with them and to build it. And then also to maintain it. When it comes down to it, who do you really have relationships with and who do you have relationships with that matter?
Relationships are quite literally why I do my job. Their parents have to know my kid is taken care of when they come here, whether that be the recruiting staff, the nutrition staff, the weight staff, the coaching staff, like whoever, whenever, whatever.
You're doing the jump? Mommy, she's doing the jump!
All of these student athletes are so driven to be elite and be the best of the best and be the best in their respective field. And I feel like every single day I need to bring it too, because there's no other option.
I'm at the point of my career where I have had, guys that I helped recruit or I was a part of their recruiting process that are now, in the NFL.
We're 49ers!
Have a few guys that are family men. They're married, they've started their families, and it's just really rewarding, and it's something like super fulfilling about knowing that you met them as this wide-eyed high schooler that was just super excited just to take the next step in their journey, and just knowing you played even a small piece in his journey. It's just, it's nothing like it.
Yeah, it definitely gets me relaxed and clear my mind. I just turn on some music and thinking about what's coming in the day. But even though I'm thinking about what's coming in the day, just being on the bike and riding in and listening to the music that I love to listen to, just it clears my mind, it calms me. As much as we need to be go, go, go all the time as strength coaches, riding a motorcycle, especially when there's no one on the road and it's that early and it's just you out there and there's really no other cars around, like you can kind of just be in your own thoughts and think about everything you need to think about and plan and prepare, but all at the same time, just relax yourself. Think about the day to get going, what we need to do, what's the goals of the day, what changes do we need to make from the previous week on this day. Get ready to meet with the guys on the whiteboard to talk with them about any changes and what we need to accomplish today. The challenges is what make it fun and exciting, but then also, coming to work, get head strength coach to the Florida Gators, this is a lot of people's dream, and I never forget that. Housekeeping, just measurement points, remind them that these sports science tests, they're getting points, if they get the highest number, right, I'll just remind them of that. Yeah, honestly, we probably meet too much, but I just believe in being over-prepared. That comes from my father. You know, we met every single day at the family company, so it just helps. Something could have changed overnight. You know, a thought could have come up, or like, hey, we noticed this yesterday evening with the players. Let's change this or let's change this in the run. So we meet every single day to make sure we know exactly, one, how things need to be coached. You know, we need to be on the same page. We're giving the same cues or techniques and making sure that it's getting done the right way that we want it to be done, both in lifting and running. And then two, it allows us to make any changes together as a group, because I'm not going to just make changes on my own, because that's not what this is. This is a staff. This is all of us working together. So it allows us that opportunity to make and converse one last time before the day gets going to make any necessary changes.
All right, again, Coach A-Watt's going to get you. You guys hit your metrics. All right.
I have a phenomenal staff that I can rely on and lean on, and also try and put them in the light. You know, they run a large part of the lifts and the runs and the warm-ups.
Let's go, Fizz. This week on right. Y'all already know what time it is. Here we go. Go on, get on down there. Let's go.
This gives them a chance to hear from someone else's perspective or angle or coaching technique or coaching cues. It still gives me that opportunity to coach and not just run things.
Now look, let's cut to the chase here. Your new strength coach is Tyler Miles.
Me and a couple leaders went up to Coach Napier and said, hey, like, I don't really want another guy in there besides Coach Tyler. He's been running it for a couple weeks. You know, I think we went up there and said, I think he's the best for us. He's been pushing us. He's been getting us on the right path, and I think it was one of the best decisions for him to be able to stay and be the strength coach.
I could not be more proud to be with you men. Right? You guys know I love you. I'm going to push the hell out of you, but you guys know it's for your best interest, all right?
Coach Tyler Miles is a guy who, you know, cares about this program, who has pride in this program, and who cares about his players, someone who will listen and wants to do what's right for you.
Not only tell us what we need to do, but he'll tell us what we need to hear, especially if he feels like you're dogging it in the weight room. He'll tell you to pick it up. If he feels like you're doing it well, bring other guys along with you.
Break it down, coach. All right, family on me, family on three. 1, 2, 3.
You're a direct reflection of who you spend the most time with, and I want these young men to be a direct reflection of me and the strength staff. Coach Jesse Ackerman, he's highly intelligent, has a lot of wisdom.
Get ready, man. Get ready. Get ready.
Still to be very demanding and push and toughen these guys up. Jake Sanko, he's also our director of nutrition, the best nutritionist that I've ever worked with, and then he's a really good strength coach. We got Coach A-Watt, Alex Watkins. He's a really good coach and can also be very stern and demanding. He's not afraid to tell the honest truth. You know, and that's what young men need a lot of times. Just hired Jason Jones. Jason does a great job. You know, can rely on him to hold these guys accountable, to push them. Rod Hill, you know, he's our director of sports science. He and I built this sports science system together, so when I got promoted, it was a no-brainer. That's who we need to hire. Franco Gossip, he's on the sports science staff.
Bar was moving fast yesterday, fellas, for the train front squad. It's good to see. It's good to see the guys responding to the training.
So he knows also exactly what I'm looking for, how my brain works. And lastly, you got Reed Roberts. So you got 3 guys down there that they respect and they'll listen to. And it's already showing up in our results. We're hitting a lot of new, good numbers.
It's not how you motivate yourself, it's how your brothers motivate you. You know, we're a very tight-knit crew. Every day is gonna be hard regardless, but you always have your brother to lean on.
One more! One more,
Who got it? Who won it? No problem. We mobbing. In the city, plenty have it causing. Do or die, all or nothing. Raising the belly of the beast. There were days where I really had sleep, but I had to work more than competition. I can't live like the opposition. Living everything I dreamed of. Doing everything you think of. The way I work, I want to break off. Doing numbers like a brain truck.
From an effort standpoint, it's completely off the charts. You know, you see guys, you know, coming in and pushing themselves to limits that, you know, they've never seen before. You know, things that guys have never lifted before, ever ran before, top speeds, you know, top lifts.
You know, at the end of the day, these kids love to compete. So now they see all these records up there and all the tests that we do, all the combine tests, all the weightlifting tests, and all the sports science tests, it all matters. And when they break the record, it's not myself or a strength coach. writing in their name and their number, they go up and they wipe out the guy's name that was in there, and they get to write in their name and their number. And then hopefully in 10 to 15 years, they come back here and it's still, they can remember that day where they broke that record. They wrote in their name, wrote in their number. It's their handwriting. It's not mine. It's theirs. Because at the end of the day, this is their team, and that is their record board.
If we put the work in, the success will come. We put in the effort. We put in everything because we know that we have goals that we want to, achieve coming up.
We built that leadership, the core leaders among the team, along with the rest of the group following along. We all know what the mission is, We all know what the standard needs to be.
The swamp is a different animal. When you walk in there, you get chills, regardless if there's 93,000. And it's just, so much history has been made there, and there's so much, blood, sweat, and tears that have been in that stadium, and it's an honor to be able to play in there, right? And now imagine going out in front of 93,000 people and be able to compete and do the thing that you love every day. And I think that's the mentality when you walk in there, to uphold the standard, to do things the right way.
We have to protect our home, and now that we're in there for every Wednesday for how many weeks we're going to be in there, I think it's urgency of more and more protect our home.
We really have built that sense of urgency, especially because we're getting closer to the season now too. And every day it's just, raising that bar. We
just got to turn it up one more notch. I mean, we know, I think it's 80-some days now, but in the blink of an eye, it was just spring ball. And we just played spring game. Blink of an eye, snap. We're going to be walking down that Gator walk for real.
Being able to go in the swamp and do something like that, seeing those SEC championships, seeing those national championships up, it's like, hey, we got to pick it up. It's time to work. It's time to get going. It's time to push each other. And I think that's the motivation that we needed, is just to understand what's been built and the opportunity that we have to do together as a team.
Lock in. Yo, hey, take a second to realize where you are. Hey, we're in the swamp, right? We're in the swamp.
Having pride in not only yourself, not only in your last name, and not only just in your teammates, but in this university. And just, understanding that it means something to have that Gator on your chest. It means something to run out in this swamp with 93,000. And I think that's the difference. We care. We care so much. We've been through so much. And we just want to push each other to the limits, right? We want to be able to be successful. And we want to be able to put a number on that wall.
Everyone's here is living a dream that they always wished, and it's every single day you're working towards that dream that you've always wanted.
As we keep chipping at it, as we keep getting closer to August 31st, we're just going to keep climbing that mountain. And I think, we're going to be able to see the results that we want.
Bro, take pride in this. Take pride every single second you step on this field. Go. Hey, game's on me. Game's on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey.